Hi, and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris. It's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And we got something special today. Managed to take the time to sit down with Dr. 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗀 of SingularityNET. If you like anything related to artificial intelligence and machine learning, robotics, you're definitely not going to want to miss this one. Now, apologies for the audio. It's a very loud environment where we were interviewing. So we've tried to clean it up as best we can, but it's still a fascinating interview. Definitely worth watching. If you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. And don't forget to jump in the Discord. It's absolutely free to join. There's over 4,500 people talking about crypto 24/7, supporting one another, navigate the space safely. It's definitely worth going down there. I don't think you'll regret it. Link is in the description of the video. Right. Let's get down and let's interview Dr. 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗀.
All right, so it's been some time since the last interview, Ben. So what's new in the world of SingularityNET?
We've been building a real lot of stuff through the whole COVID period, really. So it's been quite productive and exciting on the technology side, although obviously we haven't been doing events and such as much as usual. So we've been building more and more AI on the back end, so training a bunch of neural nets for speech and vision, for generating music, neural nets for financial prediction with Singularity down. We've been rebuilding our core AGI thinking machine engine, 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗀, into a new version, 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗀. We've actually started rebuilding the guts of blockchain itself with a project called 𝗕𝗄𝗪𝗪, which is a Cardano sidechain, but it's completely new. It gets rid of the ledger altogether. So it's a rethinking of the foundations of blockchain in order to make things more scalable for the needs of decentralized AI. We started building a Metaverse, which is the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗀 with these AI avatars in it. So it's really been a chance for a bunch of us to sort of sit at home and
Work hard.
build stuff. Right, which has been fun. But we're excited now also to be going around and telling more people about everything that we've been building.
Yeah, no, it sounds fantastic. And I think the last time we caught up, we were told obviously about the ecosystem moving over to the Cardano side of things rather than staying on Ethereum. Where do you see AI's place on the Cardano ecosystem? Is it really around the DeFi element, or is it just everything?
So certainly we're looking at SingularityNET as being multi-chain going forward. We're not getting rid of our Ethereum-based platform, and we're open to exploring other blockchains, as there's a market or need for them. I do think Cardano's 𝗬𝗪 smart contracts framework gives us more power and flexibility for decentralized AI than anything else that's out there now. And I've seen this in a really powerful way when working on 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗪𝗀. So 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗪𝗀, which is our own custom ledgerless blockchain, this will interoperate with Ethereum and will interoperate with Algorand and Cardano and any other blockchain we choose to plug it into. But we can interoperate it more deeply with Cardano than with the other chains we've looked at due to the nature of 𝗬𝗪 smart contracts. Really, this has to do with how granular do you make the use of blockchain within your AI. So if you look at how we architected SingularityNET now, a SingularityNET AI agent is a pretty chunky thing, and we basically have taken the approach of trying to use the blockchain only when really, really necessary, because it's so slow and expensive to use blockchain, at least on Ethereum so far, right? So we try to minimize what goes on chain, do everything possible off chain. That certainly works to an extent, but if we want to realize the long-term vision of SingularityNET, we want to be able to have like a single AI thought process where different parts are owned and created by different people, and more of the interactions are on-chain. So like you want to make, say, an AI learning agent where the long-term memory is in an AI agent written and owned by one person, like the short-term memory is in an AI agent written and owned by another person, and the visual perception is in an AI agent written and owned by a different person. And to do that, you're like scaling down the granularity of use of the blockchain, and this is what Hypercycle is oriented toward. And once we have a full port of SingularityNET to Cardano, we'll be able to scale down and make more granular the use of blockchain much better than we have been with Ethereum. Once we have Hypercycle fully rolled out together with Plutus, we'll be able to scale down much further to where we have really little AI microservices, and that will just let you do more and more stuff on chain. I think beyond AI, if you want to do a decentralized social network where like every tweet and every little smiley face you put on a tweet, or the analog of that for a Twitter-like decentralized social network, or if you want to make micro payments where you're paying someone 5 cents for listening to their song, like we want to do with the 𝗕𝗃𝗀𝗪𝗂𝗪 SingularityNET spinoff, which was aimed at music. For these things as well, you really want to scale down the use of blockchain. You want individual blockchain transactions to be very high speed and low cost. Cardano can do better at that than Ethereum, and the Hypercycle Cardano sidechain will do that better than Cardano. Now, will Ethereum scale to that level eventually? I mean, maybe we're not ruling it out. We're willing to embrace whatever works. Right now, I see more promise in Plutus and other pieces of the Cardano ecosystem for that.
Yeah, I think we're looking at it in the same way. I think Cardano is going to be more scalable, faster, cheaper, and I believe you can code more securely with Cardano.
Cardano is doing everything right from a fundamental math and software engineering perspective. Obviously, we've seen some cost to that in development time. On the other hand, Ethereum 2.0 has been delayed a bit and redefined multiple times also. So I wouldn't say that delays in development relative to initial wishes are in any way unique to the Cardano ecosystem. Bottom line is, no one's developed a decentralized tech stack before, right? We're doing fundamentally new and different stuff, and you can't really estimate how long it will take to do something that's never been done before, right? Yet the nature of the business world is you have to give estimates anyway, and these are often going to be wrong. So.
Definitely, I completely agree.
Yeah, if you look at, you mentioned security, if you look at things like homomorphic encryption or multi-party computing, I think the path to rolling these out customers for AI in a scalable way on Cardano is very clear. And as another example, within Hypercycle, so 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, who's leading Hypercycle, and some of his comrades have come up with a way to massively speed up smart contract execution. If you want to run this smart contract on Ethereum or on Cardano, basically running this smart contract concurrently on every node, and this is very, very slow. So what they've come up with is a way to run a smart contract only on, say, 3 or 5 or 10 nodes and have it still be equally secure, basically by propagating a Merkle tree through the smart contract interpreter engine so that you can check for security at intermediate waypoints within the execution of the smart contract rather than just at the end. So if we can run a smart contract only on a handful of nodes rather than every node, suddenly if you're running on 5 nodes instead of 10,000 nodes, you get an incredible speed up. Now, we can see how to do that really, really clearly on Plutus. Doing that in the EVM is possible, just has more overhead. And we're actually looking at a tool called Avoom, which lets you do an accounts-based model like the EVM needs and layer on top of Plutus, right? So you can do all this in the EVM. It's just much more natural in the Cardano model. So I think timing has been problematic for everyone, but it's very clear to me, like, within the next couple years, the fundamentally superior computer science foundation of Cardano is going to let it do just much more interesting things. And this cuts across DeFi, cuts across medicine, it cuts across decentralized social networks, it cuts across, DSO and retail payment systems. So when I really look at how are we going to make crypto take over the global economy and become pervasive, seems like Cardano gives a better foundation for that. And it seems like Hypercycle, building on Cardano as a Cardano sidechain, will give an even better foundation than vanilla Cardano. I mean, so that's what we're placing our bets on. But we're architecting things very, very, very flexibly. So I mean, if something new and even better comes up, we can certainly utilize it.
Awesome. It sounds really good. And you mentioned Metaverse and setting up the Metaverse with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗕. What does that look like? What sort of role does AI play in the Metaverse?
So I think AI is really going to be critical for making the Metaverse live up to its vision. And actually, I think Mark Zuckerberg, ironically, understands that better than anyone else. He sees why you need AI to scale up the Metaverse, and this is why he renamed his company Meta and figured they're going to go in that direction. Unfortunately, the centralized aspect of Facebook has started to get on the nerves even of normies, not just of cypherpunks and crypto geeks. So I think people are starting to worry about, like, do I really want to mind upload into the Facebook metaverse and, like, put my whole life into this thing that's run by Zuckerberg and his tech bro cronies acting together with the Republican Party and whatnot. I mean, but I think in the intersection of AI and the metaverse, Zuckerberg's vision is right on, and there's a lot of aspects to it. I mean, one is AI non-player characters, because the metaverse is very empty, right? If you have this metaverse world, even if it were beautifully architected, and of course, Facebook's metaverse is horrendously ugly, but even if it were beautifully architected, nothing's happening, right? So how do you make it so something's happening? Well, have a bunch of AIs bouncing around doing cool stuff, and then the AIs to do cool stuff in an open-ended world rather than a game with very closely scripted gameplay. It takes some level of creativity and flexibility on the part of the AI. Now, another piece is if the metaverse is going to really be meta, if you're going to have multiple different worlds that people can journey between the multiple worlds, that's complicated and confusing. It'd be nice to have an AI tour guide to kind of follow you around to the different virtual worlds. It could be a parrot sitting on your character's shoulder as it goes through the different worlds or something, right? The other aspect is to automatically build content. I mean, that's an AI problem. We're starting to see now neural nets to automatically generate content based on the verbal description. You want to make that available to anyone, so anyone can go say, like, I want a castle with 7 spires with a bunch of beautiful women buzzing around showing up artwork to people who come in, and surrealist pictures of weird animals hanging on the walls. Then the AI will generate that building and those NPCs for you, right? So AIs to create content, again, will help populate the metaverse to make it not be ugly and empty. So I think actually AI for NPCs, for tour guides, and for automatically generated content will be critical for making metaverses that are open-ended and diverse and don't suck. And this can give a big opportunity for SingularityNET to be basically the go-to place for AI tools to serve metaverse creators. And of course, the beauty of the metaverse is we want most users to be creators. We don't want it to be a passive thing, like just a video game with tokenomics or something, right? So I think there's tremendous potential there. It should be quite exciting. And then when you bring in VR AR convergence, it should get even more interesting because you have more potential for the metaverse to intersect with the real world economy, right? And I think this has got to happen in the next few years. Crypto is always going to be a sideshow, right?
Yeah, for sure. So you're working on an awful lot of stuff, let's be honest. What excites you the most about everything that you're working on? What are you looking forward to seeing sort of flourish the most?
Well, I really gravitate toward the core technologies. So, I mean, Hypercycle, as I mentioned, the Cardano sidechain, this solves the basic problems of blockchain. This solves the problem of making a blockchain that's fast, cheap, and easy to use, and it does it by getting rid of the ledger, right? So that excites a computer scientist in me. We're working on something called 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗧𝗏, which is an artificial general intelligence engine, and we're building a new version of 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗧𝗏, and this we're building a new AI programming language for this, and we're building this with decentralization at the gut, so we'll run on Hypercycle from the get-go. So the whole AI knowledge graph will be decentralized down to the individual knowledge item level across all of Hypercycle, right? So that's cool, that's exciting, and we can roll that out for every vertical market, right? So as well as the Metaverse project that we mentioned, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏, which is going to be doing some NFT drops and a token sale soon. We're using this 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏 decentralized AI for longevity biology, for example. So we're using it to study the DNA of long-lived organisms and long-lived people to try to discover new medicines that will prolong people's lives. So since I'm a 55-year-old grandfather, that interests me a lot right now. Like I want to be sure I live to see the singularity. But there's a host of different applications across different verticals. So we'll see here at this event in London. So sort of demo of the 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏 robot singing a bit, reciting some AI generated poetry to background music. So I've been playing keyboard in the 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏 band, in which 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏 is the lead poetess and singer, and that's been interesting and a lot of fun. It's given me the excuse to take my keyboards out of the closet and start playing music for the first time in a while. That goes along with the 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏 blockchain project, which is basically a tokenomics-driven ecosystem for musicians, trying to give musicians a way to make money for playing music, both by a token model for parents who use tokens to play musicians, and using AI to make sort of digital twins of musicians that can then, after they're trained to imitate and give musicians music, can play in someone's band. So that's been fun to me, just with my musician hat on, because I mean, one of the many reasons I wound up not going into music as a career, though I've always loved music. It's not only that I thought AGI ultimately is more important because that will create the singularity, but also there's no way to get paid to play music, right? So, and the record companies took all the money, now streaming services took all the money. Blockchain is supposed to solve that problem, so 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏 should enable that. And another project we'll be talking about later is DeFi, as you mentioned. So fundamentally, what interests me is making superhuman thinking machines and then using that to revolutionize, music, art, biology, every different industry. But finance, I mean, it's a necessary evil, right? I mean, you need decentralized finance in order to create the liquidity needed to fund all these other cool projects. Singularity DAO, which was the first vertical market spin-off that we spun off from SingularityNET last year. I mean, that's been growing for some time. I mean, that was founded in 2020, and we did a token sale early 2021. So now with Singularity DAO, we're using machine learning to trade baskets of altcoins. And I mean, it's been a kind of bad time for the market, but we've outperformed crypto markets reasonably well there, and we've got the Singularity DAO guys here today, and who's been the head guy leading the trading system design aspects is here also, and he's based here in London. We're also launching another DeFi project on SingularityNET, which is working closely with SingularityNET, which is 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗧, and this is launching a whole new class of financial instruments called tracer coins, which are uncorrelated with everything else out there. Because one issue that we see now, Bitcoin was supposed to be a new category of financial instruments, but in fact it's now heavily correlated with traditional financial instruments. So in a way, it's just a more volatile version of the stock market from an investment standpoint, right? So we're launching a new class of financial instrument called tracer coins, which they're a little bit like stable coins, but they don't track fiat. They track synthetic indices. So you can define a synthetic index to track, say, progress on climate change or technological progress. And based on this synthetic index, which is defined in an objective, transparent way, you can then use the fractional reserve combined with AI algorithmic stabilization to make the tracer coins trace these synthetic indices. So then, by design, you get something that's not correlated with anything else because it's following these synthetic indexes, right? So again, that uses AI to do the algorithmic stabilization. The AI is running on the SingularityNET platform, but again, the point here is use AI algorithms to create more liquidity to fuel the application of AI in all these different domains, right? And then the stuff like 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗧 and AGI system and hypercycle ledgerless blockchain provides sort of the algorithmic plumbing underneath all of this. So, I mean, the reason we're doing so many things, we're trying to build basically a whole decentralized tech economy, right? So, I mean, you need decentralized money, you need decentralized infrastructure. On the blockchain side, you need decentralized AI engine. Then you need decentralized products across various vertical markets, and you need to build all these things that will work well together. It's really quite a lot of stuff to do in a short period of time, ultimately without all that much resources compared to the magnitude of the task at hand, right? But on the other hand, it's been a lot of fun to work on.
Definitely. So I think that sort of brings all my questions to a close. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend the time with us today for the interview, Ben. Really appreciate it. I know you're very, very busy. But yeah, our community loves Singularity, SingularityNET, Singularity DAO, and they're going to be buzzing when we get to it.
I think these next few years are going to be really dramatic ones. I mean, it's sort of put up or shut up time for the crypto world, and the nature of the cycles in the crypto world is, when the market's bad, you sit home and build a bunch of stuff. Fortunately, we've been in a financial position in the Singularity ecosystem that we've been able to sit there without worrying too much and just build amazing software and develop new technologies. When the bull run hits again, there's going to be another tremendous business explosion. What we really need in the crypto world, we need this next business explosion to be the one where our software is used to do a lot of real stuff in the real world. I mean, DeFi in a way is fake adoption because it's just adoption to shuffle different cryptos around to each other. I mean, in the end, it's not fake if you made money that you can buy stuff and pay people with. But we need adoption that's generating value outside just the finance world and is helping people with their lives and
like the micro loans that you were talking about earlier, where the banking the unbanked, I think, is a term that's been used quite a lot, isn't it? That sort of stuff. I think then you've got real value, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're helping musicians to reach their audiences, you're designing new drugs. I mean, you're creating graphic art. I mean, there's even with the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗧 tracer coins I mentioned. I mean, together with hypercycle, we can use that to make payment tokens we could use to buy random stuff without fiat in the pipeline anywhere, potentially, right? So we need the next crypto bull market to be the one where real stuff actually starts to happen, right? And in terms of development of thinking machines, all the same infrastructure that should let real stuff happen, this should let the next generation of AIs really run on the blockchain at a micro level. So yeah, I'm quite excited about what's to come in the next few years. I mean, when exactly things start to boost again financially, none of us can tell, but we're very well poised to leverage that next growth phase when it occurs.
Yeah, exciting times. Is there anything that you would like to mention to our community before we sort of end the interview? Is there anything that you want to announce or cover off that you haven't already spoken about?
Well, I think I've probably hit the key points. So I'd encourage everyone to follow SingularityNET.io. Follow our newsletter, and we're launching a lot of things. So the Rejuve longevity app, the Rejuve SingularityNET spinoff, is in beta. It's launching soon. Mindflex, which is a whole media suite, and as well as an online magazine, will be launching soon. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 is going to be doing some NFT drops and probably some other tokenomics stuff soon. And if you follow SingularityNET, you'll be announced when all this stuff happens. I didn't even mention NewNet actually.
I know.
We've got 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗪 who's running NewNet here.
Is he here as well?
He's here today.
I'll have to go say hello.
From Brussels, and yeah, NewNet is continuing to roll out, real software aimed at tokenizing the world's compute infrastructure. So we're big fans. Yeah, we got a bunch of cool stuff going on. So just follow SingularityNet. You can find out about each new cool thing as it happens. And I mean, I think our overall strategy is, we built this cool platform already. It can do a lot more than anyone's using it for at the moment, actually. So by creating all these spin-off projects in different verticals, basically each of these spin-off projects, as it matures, will use the SingularityNET platform in more and more ways. And in that way, they're not only using the AGIX token, using the platform, they'll be setting an example for the rest of the world in how to use the platform. Well, the other thing I didn't mention is deep funding, or decentralized ecosystem project funding. So we're giving free money or free AGIX tokens to people who have proposed cool projects to build on the platform. And it's purely decentralized, so the community of AGIX token holders votes on which projects proposed by AGIX token holders should get funded. Then newly minted tokens go to these parties. And I mean, this we've done the first round of that already. The tokens are going out. Cool things are being built on the platform to use the AGIX token on the platform. And yeah, before long we'll have a new round of funding going out to new projects. So this is yet another way to sort of drive utilization of the platform.
Yeah. And I think NewNet have got the earn drop with some of the stake pools for Cardano, so that's another thing to look at. Right. I will share all of this information with everybody, so stay tuned.
So that was Dr. Ben Goertzel. Thanks, Ben, for spending the time with us. We'll definitely have to do it again. Really excited about everything SingularityNET, be it SingularityNET, Singularity DAO, the whole shebang. They're great projects and they're definitely worth spending the time to research. If you enjoyed today's video, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.